Hello, I'm Alfie, a final year textile student at Loughborough University. I specialise within printed textiles. This project is called Papilio. Taking inspiration from the Victorian era, the use of butterflies is used to express the end of life and reincarnation, tying in the symbolic nature of renewal and transformation. The ephemerality of butterflies only surviving for a short period of time can be seen as a reflection of human life, existing only briefly. This creates a parallel between the human life and the cycle of butterflies. I took to visiting a series of different museums and local butterfly sanctuaries. From here I used my imagery to form a colour palette and inspire my collection. This is the space where I work within the studio to create drawings, new ideas and inspiration before going into the print workshops to visualise my designs onto materials. In the workshops, I start by dyeing my materials and then proceeding to expose my screen for printing. Testing is regularly required to be carried out to reduce waste of materials and resources to work sustainable. I use the salvage of the materials to carry out testing to see if the colours work with the initial design. I knew from the start of the project that I wanted all of the processes to be hand printed. This was because I wanted to have less control of the finished product. Through testing a series of colours and materials, I had a rough idea of how the finished print would look. Although using that paste, you don't know what the final piece would look like until it had been steamed, washed and dried. I chose to use this process to further the symbolism and juxtaposition between life. To me, it creates an understanding between the known and unknown properties of life. We know that death is inevitable, but we are not aware of what lies for us on the other side. Here I am mixing a new batch of print paste. This is for the second layer of this print to go on. There's 5 meters in total, so it took a really long time, about 8 hours to be exact. Here is the design coming out of the steamer, and there I will have to wash it and take out all of the chemicals to reveal what is left. This is the largest piece of the collection. It is 7 meters long and it had been bucket dyed before being placed onto the table. Here we are putting the first layer down, and then there will be another layer on top, and then that would be the finished product. And then I will hand roll hem the edges to give it that nice clean finish. Here you can see us placing the second layer and final layer onto the piece. It took a really long time to dry, so this is us the next day putting the second layer on. As well as working onto sheer fabrics, I also wanted to experiment with metal. Through a series of testing, I used copper for my material and screen printed my imagery using olive spread butter, and then placing the pieces into an ammonia and sawdust bath, as such to where the reaction tarnishes the metal, and the olive spread creates a resist onto the print. Once it is taken out of the ammonia, the imagery is left onto the metal. From there, I cut the metal into a series of different sized rectangles and drilled a hole in one corner of each piece. There were 36 pieces to be drilled, and then I twisted the rectangles into coils to mimic a cocoon. For this piece, I wanted to hand paint the background and have a more organic nature to it. So I'm just pulling down the fabric, making sure it's flat, and then here I'm measuring out my dye and also adding water to create a solution. With this, it allows me to create an uneven surface onto the fabric, which is what I intend to do. Here I'm just going to wash the material with water, and then over the top of that I'm going to add my dye. This was so that the dye would spread and bleed all over the material, creating an uneven surface and different types of texture and tone to the piece. going to be a 2-layered piece again, and so one layer is going to be butterflies and the other will be spots. This is me creating a torso for my final collection. In total I created 3, and therefore they will be suspended in the air to create the flying illusion of a weightless butterfly in the air. This might look easy, but it's actually really difficult to try and put everything into position, as well as trying to coerce the 2 parts off of each other. I found that sewing the edges was my best option to create a great seamless finish, and therefore in the end that's what I went for, as well as adding extra plaster to the sides. This made it really strong, and I was able to hang all of my finished designs onto them, and I'm really happy with the final outlook. Here I am finishing my edges on an industrial sewing machine. I'm roll hemming a satin silk, and that really came out nicely. Once I had finished all my edges, I then went into the photography suite and I created a series of photo shoots of my final collection to be presented within my files. This is me putting up my final designs at the degree show. It took a really long time to put up and down, and I can't lie, I did forget to film the majority of it. So here I am just adjusting and making sure everything looks perfect. Here is the finished result of me putting all of my designs up. Here is my degree show space with everything in position to really get that flying motion design look. I also created my own taxidermy butterflies from the Butterfly Sanctuary. I was granted permission from the owners, and therefore they are exhibited in my show space. Here are some images of the final collection.